Across the Spider-Verse is finally out, guys. I watched it. This is going to be full-on spoiler talk. So if you guys haven't watched the movie, come back later after watching the movie. I'm going to be talking about things that I love. And it's all spoilers, guys. Let's go. I want to talk about Gwen's intro, guys. It's absolutely stunning. You know, the movie starts off, we get to see Gwen's Earth. When she was in the first movie, she only appeared in Miles' world. So traveling to her world and seeing her version of the story is absolutely incredible. It has like a motion painting feel, like a oil painting. It's very organic. There's a lot of pink, purple. Wow, it's absolutely stunning, guys. And one problem that I had with the intro was the fact that the audio was very low. I don't understand why. Maybe they were trying to set the mood. At first, I thought it was only me, but I've seen a lot of people complaining that at the beginning of the movie, the audio isn't as crisp as it can be. Maybe they were trying to set the mood, a somber mood because it's a bit heavy. It's a very cold opening. Like, it's very, very dark stuff for an animation movie, guys. So we get to see that Peter is actually the one that dies in Gwen's universe. He knows about her being Spider Gwen, so he drinks a formula because he also wants to be special, but in turn he becomes the lizard in her universe. Tragic incident happens. Peter doesn't make it. Gwen's dad, Captain Stacy, stumbles upon the accident scene, and Spider Gwen is at the scene. So from there, he's hell bent on bringing her to custody without even knowing that it's his very own daughter. So you get to see Gwen deal with that trauma. She actually misses Miles a lot because it's basically her only friend other than Peter. So you get to see her deal with the consequences of that. Q the Vulture, which is absolutely incredible because it has like a Da Vinci art style to it. He appears, all out fight goes on. The Spider Society shows up, Miguel O'Hara, but I'll talk about Miguel later. Spider Woman, baby bump, shows up. Credible sequence, guys, which ends with Gwen ultimately revealing to her dad that she is Spider Gwen. It's a heartbreaking sequence because as a father, in that moment, I'm sure he didn't know what to do or how to react to the whole situation. And in that moment, she decides, you know what, I'm going to make a split second decision and leave my Earth and join the Spider Society. And that's where the whole story starts, guys. Gwen is basically the heartbeat of this movie, where Into the Spider Verse was more about Miles. I feel like this one focuses more on Gwen, which I love, and it gives Haley Steinfeld a lot to work with. Incredible way to start a movie, guys. I want to talk about Spot, which is the main villain of this story. It's actually funny. He goes through a amazing arc here, guys. We meet him. He's basically robbing a bodega, taking the ATM machine. I'm sure you guys have seen that sequence because there's a video circulating about that whole sequence. Interesting because he gets called a Friday afternoon villain, which is quite funny because, you know, he's just, his skin is all white and he just has spots on him. Be warned about the holes joke. You know, the same one that was in Quantumania. I feel like it's also circulating in this movie. So you don't take him seriously at first. He actually tells his origin story to Miles about how he became the Spot, which leads indirectly to what happened in the first movie, which I felt was a nice touch. Because normally you get a sequel and they just jump ahead and forget about the first movie. They didn't do that here, which I love about the movie. So his intentions switch very quickly. But surprising to me, but it's okay because, I mean, things really start changing when he starts traveling to different universes. There's a nice cameo here, the lady in Venom, live action. That's an incredible scene. We also get to see Lego Spider-Man, which made me, I don't know why I was so excited to see that sequence, but I was. And this is what Multiverse of Madness was supposed to be, like proper multiverse stuff. And they managed to achieve that here in this movie. Credit to Sony Animation for doing that. And Sport basically travels into the multiverse, and then that's where he gets his wow moment. He's like, wow, I can do so much more damage with this than I initially thought. And he's hell bent on making Miles' life a living hell because he feels that Miles is directly responsible for what happened to him. He's not in the movie a lot, but when he shows up, it just helps progress his story even further. I'd like to see where they take Spot next because he looks like a Dalmatian at the start of the movie, and then as he starts traveling to different multiverses, you can see it's more violent. Like his animation is like, when you just take a pen and you just do a rough sketch, it's starting to turn in that, which I feel fully describes his violent nature that has been building from when his story started. So Spot, it makes sense that he's the villain of the story, guys. I'll go into that later. Getting back to Miles, guys. Miles is a teenager now. He's in that awkward phase of his life. Everybody knows, being a teenager is not the easiest thing in the world. So you get to see that he has to deal with that aspect, his school life. He has to deal with the fact that he's also Brooklyn's one and only Spider-Man now. So he's trying to juggle that while having fun as well. And it's not that easy. And I guess that's part of being Spider-Man. You can tell that he's lonely. He misses his friends from the first film, and it's different when you miss your friends and they are in a whole nother universe than opposed to your friends just living around the corner. So he has to deal with that. They also explore his relationship with his parents nicely, guys. I feel like it makes you care more about the character. The fact that they flush out the character a lot, especially his relationship with his dad. That is still a bit strained from the first movie, and then his relationship with his mother gets explored nicely because deep down I kind of get the feeling that she knows something is going on. She doesn't yet realize how big it is. Q Gwen, she comes back into Miles' Earth universe. There's a lot of multiverse things going on here, guys. Bear with me. So she makes a return because Miles is her only true friend after what happened with Peter. So she really missed him, and she actually breaks the rules, but not really because she's there for a mission, but she breaks the rules by visiting Miles. There's a beautiful sequence here, guys, where she and Miles, they go to a building and they're just watching the city sitting upside down. I absolutely love this sequence, guys. It's like a painting. I wish that I can, capture that moment and have like a painting hanging of that specific moment. It absolutely took my breath away. The animation style there was incredible, guys. And what they've managed to achieve with the animation style here, guys, it's actually a lot for your brain to process. But, you know, they've just doubled up on the animation. So what that being said, guys, Gwen was actually visiting Miles while trying to figure out who the Spot character is because the Spider Society is looking at him and there's a possibility that he might be a serious threat. So later on, Miles actually finds out what she's up to She opens a portal, and then Miles makes that split-second decision of following her into that portal, and that sets the whole movie in motion. So from that pivotal moment in the movie, everything just goes crazy, guys. They travel to Mumbai, which is it's brilliant, guys. I mean, it's a mixture of Manhattan and Mumbai. It's New York and India blended together, and the animation here is absolutely incredible. They join up with the Spidey of that universe. There's a brilliant joke in there about chai tea, that I didn't even know about. I mean, I like chai tea. I just didn't know that chai is tea and tea is tea, so it means it's tea tea. There was a very funny moment in the movie, guys. My favorite animation style in the movie has to be Spider Punk, guys. I absolutely love Spider Punk. His look reminds me of Basquiat, with the dreadlocks and that whole punk vibe going on. That is absolutely incredible to see how he blends in with the other animation styles. It really pops. It's mind blowing to actually see him being introduced into the story. We get to meet the Spider Society also here, guys. I at first thought this would be gimmicky. When I saw the trailer, it made me excited, but I was also worried that this might be a little too much. I thought, because if I look at the Super Mario Brothers movie, that felt like a full length commercial. So in my mind, I was like, maybe they're gonna try to do too much here. They didn't do that. It fits in very well with the story, guys. And there's a few cameos in this section of the movie that everybody's gonna love. I mean, the one that stands out to me is Donald Glover from Homecoming. He played Miles' uncles in Homecoming. He shows up in his Prowler outfit. That was incredible, guys. That made me smile so much. So it means whatever's been happening in Homecoming and all those movies, there's been that arc of the Prowler as well, because they have been talking about doing a live action Miles Morales movie, and I feel like that is gonna be explored there. It's gonna be incredible, guys. Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, I feel is the antagonist here, where Spot is the main villain of the movie. Miguel feels like the antagonist because when he and Miles finally meet each other, you can feel there's a lot of tension there. And he doesn't really like Miles. And he's even angry at Gwen for bringing Miles to the Spider Society, because what I can get from the movie is that she, by all means, had to keep him away from the Spider Society, because Miguel, explains what the Spider Society does, his arc and his story. And then he finally explains that Miles is the anomaly that has set everything in motion, that has disrupted the whole multiverse. Because in his universe, the events of the first movie, he wasn't even supposed to be Spider-Man, because his universe already had Spider-Man. And him interfering with that caused Spider-Man to die in the first movie, because you have that sequence where Kingpin kills Spider-Man in the first film, and his interference in that is what actually causes Kingpin to kill Spider-Man. So the spider, which is quite interesting, the spider that bites Miles has a 42 on it, which is of great significance because Kingpin and his scientists were experimenting in the first movie, and that spider actually came from another universe that actually bit Miles. So, which means that Miles actually wasn't supposed to become Spider Man. That's why it has that 42 on it. The spider is from Earth 42. And that's why Miguel is so angry that this happened, because he is actually the person trying to keep everything together and keep it from falling apart. This sets in motion him actually telling Miles that every Spider-Man has to deal with tragedy, the Uncle Ben story. Everybody has to have that, a tragic event in their lives that actually puts them on the right path. The old saying, with great power comes great. I'm not going to say it. Don't you dare say it. Yes. So Miles realizes that his father is in danger. That immediately clicks in his mind. Is like, there is no way I'm going to let my father die. I need to get my way out of this spider society place that I've stuck in. And this cues one of the best action sequences I've seen in animation. Miles has to get his way out, and in his way stands every Spider-Man that you can literally think about, guys. I'm talking Spider Dinosaur, Spider-Man from the PS4, PS5 games. There's a cat, Spider Cat. There's so many. It's so difficult to wrap my head around all that Spider-Man in that sequence. But Miles devises a plan to get everybody out of the building and make his way back to his own Earth, which starts the ending of the movie. One thing I can tell you guys is the runtime of the movie, it's not a short movie. There's a lot going on. There's a lot to digest. So it takes a while to actually get to the point where things, you start seeing the broader aspect of the story. With the ending put in motion, Miles finds a way to get back to his Earth. There's a spider machine that sends you back to your universe. So he goes through that whole process after that action set piece. And he ends up on Earth 42. Earth 42 is basically the planet which the spider that bit him came from. So which in turn means there is no Spider-Man in the universe that he travels to when he goes to Earth 42. It's mind-bending, the sequence, guys. Because imagine a world without Spider-Man. So he travels there, he meets his mom again. Okay, so snap, my uncle is still alive. How does this factor into what's happening here? So that realization kicks in, is like, oh, I'm in the wrong universe here. And then he talks to his uncle about the whole Prowler thing. And then his uncle is not Prowler. He actually became Prowler in that universe after his dad died, because there's a whole mural for his dad. So instead of turning into Spider-Man, because the spider escaped from that universe and put Miles, the Miles that we know, into the Spider-Verse, there's no Spider-Man arc in that universe that he traveled to, Earth 42. So the Miles of that universe has now become the Prowler. And his uncle Aaron is now like, who is this dude? Like his helper. He's like Igor. He's like, Alfred. Sort of that way. But like Miles meets Miles in a sequence it's brilliant, guys. Brilliantly animated, which basically sets up the next movie, which is Beyond the Spider-Verse. Also, Gwen has her part also, where she actually goes to the right universe, and when she gets there, she realizes, like, okay, Miles traveled to the wrong place. So she gets her own team ready. I can't even imagine what's going to happen in the second movie when I really think about it, guys. But when I think about the broad aspect of this movie, it's a lot to digest, guys. That's why spoiler talk, but it still feels like I've missed out on so much. There's some things that I missed because it's a 2 hour, 20-minute movie. It's a lot to digest, guys. Even watching the movie is a lot to digest, but I absolutely love the movie, guys. It's much better than the first movie. I feel it's different than the first movie, and that's what makes it interesting. If you are going in expecting Into the Spider-Verse here, you're not gonna get that, guys, because it's a completely different movie. It's a multiverse movie, and the best comic book multiverse movie I've watched. It's in the discussion as one of the best animated movies ever, guys. It's definitely in that discussion because if the first movie was that good, this is better than the first movie. So it should definitely be in that discussion. Best animated movie at the Oscars. It's definitely winning it. Now the question is, will it be nominated for Best Picture? And what are the chances of it actually winning Best Picture? I still think Killers of the Flower Moon is going to take Best Picture, but Across the Spider-Verse should definitely be in the conversation, guys. It's too early to say where this movie lands when it comes to critical acclaim and the legacy of the movie. It's very early days, but it's up there and it should be in the conversation, guys. It's my favorite movie of the year so far. My favorite movie up until this point was Air by Ben Affleck. I love that movie, guys. And this is now stepped up as my number one movie of the year. You guys can comment down below. Please let me know if there's something that I missed. This was just spoiler talk. I just had to get out some of the things that I loved about the movie, and I'd love to see where the movie goes from here, guys. It ends abruptly. It just ends. To be continued. No post-credit scene, no after-credit scene. So just prepare yourself for that. If you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna sit in the cinema, I'm waiting. There's nothing, guys. To be continued. That's the way the movie ends, guys. But it's incredible what Sony Animation managed to achieve here, guys. And I can't wait for the trailer of Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm really excited to see where that movie goes, guys. And it's coming out next year, March. No delays yet, so I'm still keeping my fingers crossed, guys. Please let me know what you guys think about the movie. This has been spoiler talk. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start doing a lot more spoiler talk, guys, and talk about things that stands out to me. Still feel like I missed a lot of things, but I'll go back in, guys, because this is a movie that I'm definitely gonna watch again. So if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and like, guys. You guys are helping me grow the channel, and it's a place where we can talk about everything movie and television. I will catch you guys on the next one.